It might be the dead of winter, but it's springtime at Brother Tom's place. Good morning, it's Epi, the Mustang Master, headed out for a side job Sunday. So today we're gonna go see my buddy Tom. Tom is if you're not familiar with Brother Tom actually is a well-known YouTuber. I'll leave a link in the description for his channel. And he's got a fox body that he just recently picked up. I actually did some work to it already. Like a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. It's bone stock, and he wants to do some cheap suspension upgrades. So he picked up a set of struts and shocks for the back, and he's also got some used coil springs. We're just gonna slap it back together. It's a super cheap build. Your typical what you did back in the day. You know, this is the kind of jobs that I do like. Is that because it's so simple and cheap. It's not overly, it's not a crazy build or anything. He's got another fox body that I actually did some work. This is how I know Tom. A long time ago, he's got a blue fox body that I did some work on in the past, and now that car's gotten to be a crazy build that he's doing, and you'll see it on his channel. He's got some major upgrades going on with that car. But this car that he just picked up is, he's got some history with it, but it's a super cheap build. It's your going in and just drive it and enjoy it kind of car, just not over the top, just a nice cruiser. And I like these cars because you can just drive them and not worry about them, and this is unfortunately where my car is going, is where it's just not going to be that kind of car where it's just going to be, a really nice car. And I maybe looking into getting my own cheap build in the future. Well, we'll talk about that later on. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna go take a look at this car real quick, and then we're gonna do some, like I said, some new struts, new shocks in the back, and then some coil springs along with it. So yeah, should be fun. Let's head out over there on this crazy rainy Sunday morning. All right, I'm here at Tom's, and check out his fox body. There's Tom over there. Say hi, Tom.
What's going on, everybody?
All right, so this is it. This is the little red notch that he's got, and looks a little rough, but it's actually a pretty clean car. I've already taken, like I said, I did some work on it. What was it, like 2 months ago?
Yeah, about 2 months ago, yeah.
Yeah, 2 months ago I put the 3G alternator on there.
Epi to the rescue.
It was a last minute fix. I was going to do a video on it, but I ended up not because it just ran out of time. But
I can kick on some light here for you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, nice 3G alternator. Still charging good, right?
Yeah, no problems at all. No problems whatsoever.
Perfect. So today's mission is we're going to be installing these struts for the front, and then we got shocks for the back, including coil springs, and
this is the SVE kit.
Yeah.
I kind of pieced it together. I bought the shocks and the struts from LMR like everybody else does, and then our mutual friend Han actually had the springs. I guess he had a different car before. I got rid of it and didn't put the springs on, so lucky me.
Worked out in your favor.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me what happened. You put these, you wanted the lower, because this was in 4x4 mode when you first got the car.
Yeah, and I can send you a picture of what it looked like before. Yeah. I swear, a lot of people, including the Mustang enthusiast people, mutual friends that we have, were like, that's not even stock ride height, that's too tall.
Yeah.
I think it's just been a long time since any of us have actually seen what stock ride height looks like.
Right.
Because it was, even my wife was like, the first thing she said is, why does this sit so high, right? So that gave me the thumbs up to work on lowering the car. Yeah. Now, the thought was, look outside, right? It's the end of the season here. We're down to the wire. and hey, let's just cut the coils like everybody else does, you know, and let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
So Dwayne, you know, my friend Dwayne came over, we cut the coils, put the car back together, took it around the block. Everything seemed fine. The next morning, and I don't think it has anything to do with it settling, but the next morning I was on my way to a show. I got about a block away. The car started getting really bouncy. And this front end right here, the driver's side, sounded like something just collapsed and started scraping. And I started smelling some burning. So I limped the car back home. And what I believe happened is I believe that the strut just collapsed. I think the original spring was kind of holding it up, you know, doing its best. But I think that the strut was always bad. And this just really accelerated its death.
Yeah. So what a lot of times happens is, you know, the strut gets used to a certain height, right height. And in that spot, that's its happy place. And then you change that spot, you lower it down or whatever. Sometimes even as on a regular car, if you hit a hard bump where it collapses the strut further down, a lot of times that can blow out the strut.
And that, it's interesting you said that, because there's this street right here, my street, when I would turn off the main road onto this street, if I was making a right turn, as soon as I would hit that incline, I would hear that kind of sound, the same sound that I heard, but it would just be a quick, like a scraping noise, like something was bottoming out.
Right.
I thought maybe it was, you know, a broken coil or something, but now in hindsight, I am pretty confident that that was the strut doing exactly what you said. It got compressed to an unhappy position, and it just couldn't really recover, but the spring was helping it back up.
Yeah.
So
exactly. So the other thing that happens when you cut coil springs is, so I'm going to put this right here so I can show you. So on a progressive rate spring, a lot of times the factory springs are progressive rates. These outer coils are actually a different rate than the inner coils. And they do that technique by heating these outer coils a different rate than the center coils. That's how you get the progressive rate. So that, like, these can be a little bit softer on the outside than the inner ones. The inner ones have the more, or vice versa. So you cut these outer, you cut a couple, let's say a coil off. Well, you just change the rate of the spring. So yeah, that happens when you cut coil springs. Now they're static rate springs. A lot of the cheap replacements are static rate, unless they specifically say they're progressive rate. So yeah, that a lot of times affects the ride quality, just cutting the coils out. So it's something we did back in the day. For sure.
Yeah. It doesn't mean it was right.
It wasn't right, but you know, it was just,
hey, when we were teenagers,
exactly. Yeah,
and we couldn't afford, you know, the expensive stuff, right?
Exactly.
You know, underdrive pulleys and you know, Flowmasters and stuff, and we had a hot rod. So
that's funny you say that, because that was the first thing I did on my '86 was I put Flowmasters and what do you call it? The underdrive pulleys. And what happened? The first night I drove it, the alternator stopped working because it wasn't charging enough.
Charge enough, yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, today's plan is to we're gonna swap the struts out because we're pretty sure they're blown out, and then change the springs while we're at it.
I wanted to do this anyway. Again, I was trying to not be cheap so much, because if anybody sees my blue car, they know I'm not cheap. But I was just trying to get it done really quickly and see how it looks, and then put it away for the winter, and then maybe do this in the springtime. But this kind of forced my hand.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we have to. Yeah, it kind of has to get done anyway, regardless. So may as well just do it now.
Yeah.
The one thing you did do right was install the caster camber plates.
Yay!
Yeah, those look good. The settings are pretty spot on. I think I may tweak them a little bit just because I've done enough of these. I know exactly where to put them, and they'll be close enough.
Okay.
And then so we'll start there. We'll start tearing this thing apart, and let's get to it.
Let's get to it. So what's the order of operation here?
So the order of operation here is we're going to take the caliper off, the 2 bolts, and it just slides right out. We're going to secure it. You don't ever want especially on a car with 30-something-year-old hoses, you don't want the caliper just hang off of it. Yeah. You want to secure it and make sure it doesn't hang on the hose. So we're going to secure it with a couple zip ties, and then sway bar links.
The links,
yeah. We got to disconnect just one side of it, and that's fine. It's just enough to get it free. And then we'll get the strut bolts, put the jack underneath it, pop the bolts off, and then slowly jack it down so we get the spring out, and then we can get the upper nut to get the strut out, and then reverse order to get it back in.
Okay.
And then we'll see if those covers fit on there as well.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. First things first. Already get the setup.
There we go.
11/16. All right. I might have a problem.
What's up?
Depends on how big of a wrench you have.
What do you need?
Or even if it's an adjustable wrench. You have adjustable wrenches?
I don't know if I got that big. What size? What size are you looking for? Do you know what size?
It's got to be a 15/16 or 24 millimeter.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Pretty good size.
Is there an English equivalent?
15/16. Oh, I have the socket.
Oh, you need a wrench.
Because I just can't. I can get the socket in here, but I can't get the ratchet in here unless. Man, I don't want to do this, but.
Shit, yeah, my biggest is 11.
All right. Then
11/16.
Okay. Then I have Plan B. I need a screwdriver.
Okay.
Yeah, screwdriver and possibly a little hammer.
What
flathead?
Flathead?
Yeah.
You need a rubber mallet or?
Rubber mallet's fine.
Looks like I got rubber mallets and I got like one like this too. That's kind of like.
Oh yeah, that one actually. That's perfect. That'll work.
There you go. There's a nice flathead that.
Yeah.
I don't care if it breaks.
It's not gonna break. It's just I need to pop this cap off. We're gonna get the rotor off.
Oh, okay. Go, look at that. And we'll clean those up, I assume.
Yeah.
So they'll go in a little bit better.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Sweet. Okay, so now that's just being held in up on the top, right?
Right, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll loosen that upper nut. And these tend to be tricky sometimes because they just want to spin.
Yeah.
So that's where the impact comes in.
Okay.
The impact will actually, what I do is I'll trigger it. Jum, 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 you know, like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it'll force its way out,
Okay.
usually, so.
Just for everybody watching at home, make sure you use the right size. Because I think that's metric, and I put an English socket on there.
Yeah.
It seemed right. And we had to do your little trick with, tapping.
Oh, yeah, tapping, yeah. So, yeah, I showed a previous video where you tap the socket, and what that does, it actually vibrates the socket, and that's how it comes loose.
Yeah.
All right, well, clear the hood is the real question. So usually what I do...
If not, I have impact. What size is that? Oh, wait, no, I have the wrong size.
All right, so what I like to do is hold the strut with one hand.
Okay.
And then enough, yep. Think. Yeah.
It's this. There we go.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. It is a little bit taller.
It is a little bit taller. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But we should be able to get it back in. No biggie.
Yeah, look how nice and smooth that goes on.
Yeah, it's nice. Ooh. You want it to where just sticks out just a little bit right there.
Okay.
And that's usually the sweet spot. Basically, it's so you don't have metal on metal contact with the lower control arm.
Gotcha.
And then
and I know that maybe that's what you're just about to say. I know that there's a right way to orientate the bottom when you put it in, right?
Yes,
where
absolutely.
that coil wraps around. Okay.
So there's a what they call a spring pocket, and there's an end right here. You can kind of tell right there. There's an end where that little pigtail goes on.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Try to get it as close as possible. It's never always perfect, but
sure,
getting as close as possible is key. And then you start from the top.
Okay.
And then push it inward like that. This is where you get to orient it. All right, I'm gonna have to cut this video for a second and explain to you exactly what's going on. So, as you can see, we were trying to get the new springs back into Brother Tom's car. And what happened is, it's just so difficult to get those springs in because of their height and their springiness. I thought I could just wing it with the pry bar, and, you know, what happened is it was a bit of a struggle. Now, if you ever run into this issue, I strongly suggest buying the LMR tool. And Late Model Restoration, LMR, they make this spring tool that bolts up to the bottom of the lower control arm. And it's kind of like almost like a ramp where you put the spring up in the perch, on the upper perch, and then pop the lower coil onto that tool, and then it allows you to just pop it into place into the control arm. And then you put the jack underneath and raise up the control arm and bolt it up together. I didn't have the tool with me. This was a side job, and, you know, I kind of, you know, I've done these springs before just as is, and it was a bit of a struggle, and I thought I could just wing it without the tool, and unfortunately, it ended up being a little bit more of a hassle, but I always come up with a solution when I don't have the right tools. So what we ended up doing was we took one of these inner spring compressors. Now, you can buy these at any parts store. These are pretty readily available. But the problem is that these are designed for trucks and, you know, larger vehicles with larger coil springs. Well, especially on a fox body that's got lowered springs, the problem that we ran into with this is that it's too tall, and what happens is this upper portion actually ends up hitting the top of the K-member, especially if you got one of those, if you got a factory K-member, it's definitely going to hit. Some of the aftermarket ones will definitely hit. So what we ended up doing was, and I didn't film any of this, unfortunately, we ended up taking the cutoff wheel to cut off about 2-3 inches off of the top of it. I can't remember exactly what we did. And then what we did was, once it was cut, we compressed it, used the tool, compressed it, got the spring in, and then we actually took it apart inside of the spring. So because you can't get the tool out through the bottom hole. It's just the tool is a little bit obnoxiously big. So there's these 7/16 bolts in there, and you can see all. So what we ended up doing was we take the bolts out, I never had these bolts super tight, so what I do is I just have them finger tight, and then just like that, I pop the bolts off and then slide all the pieces out. That's pretty easy to do. If you ever run into that issue, if you don't have the tools, you can use one of these and just wing it that way. That's what we ended up doing with Brother Tom's car. So anyways, I just thought I'd show you exactly what we did and how we got to where we did. But again, I highly recommend the LMR tool. I'll leave a link in the description just so you can see it. And I think that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Back to the show. Okay, audio's off because I don't have my microphone on, but no, I ended up having to run back home and grab some extra tools. There's a cutoff wheel. We're making it happen. Unfortunately, these springs are a little bit tougher than I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to just pop right in. Instead, they're fighting us a little bit because they're just a little bit taller than the ones we just pulled out of it. So, yep, I got some tools. We're going to modify the spring compressor that Tom has. Since he's only using it for fox bodies anyway, so we'll make it work and then go from there. Yeah, sometimes you have to modify your tools to make it work, and in this case we chopped the top off because it was hitting the K-member before we even got it in. So, and
that's probably because it's a universal tool, right? So
right, exactly. It's actually meant for like the bigger trucks, you know, with the bigger springs and everything, where they're sitting taller. So,
do you want to check the size of that nut head so that when we need to get it out?
Yeah, actually, so that's why I got these.
Oh, you just sneak inside. Okay, that's why you're the master.
All right, that's a 20, and that's loose. So, all right. Either way, I brought my whole set of ratcheting wrenches.
My wrenches, I think, go up to 19.
Okay. Oh, then
no, sorry, 17. Yeah, 18. Sorry,
18
millimeter.
18 is the tallest. All right. So then, let this guy. Moment of truth. After all this going back and forth, this should just pop right in. I won't be mad if it doesn't. So now we get the rotor.
That guy back on.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a process for this.
Nicely greased.
Yeah.
Bearing.
Nicely greased bearing, not over greased. There is a washer has a what do you call it? A tab where it locks up to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The bearing doesn't. It's just the washer does.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it goes in that groove right there.
Yes, exactly. And then this goes on, and then there's a tightening procedure for this. Not a torque. It's more of a go by feel.
Okay.
Let me grab my channel lock. You can do this with an adjustable wrench. So you go until it starts to get a little tight. Or feel it's just got just a little bit of drag. Actually, getting ahead of myself. So you go and you tighten this snug slightly. Rotate it a couple turns. Back off on a nut.
Okay.
So it's loose again. Then go to where you just feel it get tight. See how it rotates?
Yep.
And it kind of stops. Then I want it just a little bit more than that. Yeah. You don't want it completely freewheeling. You want it to where it's just slightly turning, and then it just kind of stops, and then that's kind of your stopping point. And then you find the castle nut, this guy.
And that
has multiple positions. So if it doesn't fit one way, like right here, doesn't the pin doesn't fit in there, rotate it one over, now it fits.
Gotcha.
So, and then just stick that in there. And you also want to be careful with these. You want to make sure they're as snug as possible, because the cap that goes over it rotates and this stays in one place.
Okay.
So that's about tight. Then the cap. Where's that rubber mallet that you had? All right, so we got this side, the rear shock. Seen better days, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna loosen this bolt. We got the jack supporting the rear end, and just to add a little bit of tension to it. Once we get that lower shock bolt out, we'll get the upper one out, and then we can let go of the jack, get the spring out, replace that real quick, and it should be pretty easy.
Yeah, I was surprised how easy the rear spring went in. Like that one just it literally just
fell out. Yeah,
and you were able to put the new one right back in.
The stock one sometimes will fight you a little bit because they're so much taller.
Right.
But yeah, no, this came out pretty easy. And then
get some leverage.
That's the upper shock mount. We got to get out.
Come on. There we go. Not as strong as an air tool, but
it works.
It works. And this one, I believe, was also a 15.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the wrong way. Okay, so we gotta lock this down.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important. Make sure you get it on the flat, right?
Yeah. Well, here, Tom. I'm going to show you a little trick.
Turn it the other way.
I'll show you a little trick. So you kind of want to get at the very top, and then you wiggle it back and forth and then use your thumb to kind of get the best grip as possible.
Okay.
And then this is what I like to do. I use one hand, use the other one, kind of help you a little bit. And
bring them together.
Break them loose. There we go. See?
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get somebody else to do the work.
All right, I'll loosen it for you. So these do have a smaller coil on the opposite side. This is how you know it's the rear. Plus, usually the spring is a little bit thinner than the front ones. And also you can tell it's like much easier to collapse because there's not as much weight in the back as it is in the front.
Right.
So there's also a position for these. You always want to have this coil kind of facing towards the front. The end of the coil may be a little kind of parallel, slightly offset, if no big deal. It's not the end of the world if you don't get in the exact position, but that's usually where I like to put them and give you the correct ride height. All right, so we should be able to just sneak this bad boy back on.
And And let's try your little trick here. So just compress this down a little bit more.
Just compress it down. Then that loosens that. Whoop! You gotta
you gotta be quick.
You gotta be quick. Yeah. Get the one towards your hand. There you go.
All right.
There you go. So there is an order in which these go in. It's a little sandwich. Always start with the washer first. There's two sides of this. The smaller end goes on the body, towards the body. The larger end goes towards the bushing, or the washer, I should say. Like that. And then you stick it up into the body. Then small end towards the bottom, large end towards the top. Another washer, and then put the nut on there. And then these actually have, sometimes you'll get them where it's just one nut, and it's usually a jam nut. And then this one is a 2-nut design where the larger nut gets it in, and then the smaller nut jams down the larger nut to keep it from walking out. There you go.
These guys?
Yeah. So you go in the car, and then I'll get to stick this in there.
There she is.
Always like to have the labels facing out just for aesthetics. Show off to the world. Hey, I got KYBs. It's a good shock.
Yeah, I actually have these on my blue car, and it's really the whole kit, right? Yeah. So it's got a good stance.
Yeah.
It did help putting the adjustable lower control arms, so I can adjust the rear a little bit more.
Yeah.
But as far as the ride quality, I get a lot of compliments.
Yeah.
With this kit, it's a tried and true kit,
Yeah.
So we're on there.
Okay, so now we can get this lower bolt up, and we're actually just about there. We just need to grab me that.
Use that, right?
That guy, yeah. Lower the jack just a hair.
All right, let me carefully try and do this with your fingers.
Yeah. I'm good. Right there. Oh. All right, go back up. Right. Oh. Hang on right there.
Good? Almost?
Almost there.
There we go.
There we go. All right. If you want, you can tighten the lower. I'll tighten the upper.
You got it.
Now, we're good. The nice KYBs. I actually have these on my Mustang. The backs are KYBs. These exact same ones.
Yeah, at least now the rear end won't be bouncing around.
Yeah, for sure. Should be a nice good ride quality. All right, so it's finally back down on the ground. Tom is going to tighten up the wheel lugs. Just go over them and make sure they're all tight. We'll take it for a ride. Not too bad. It's not ignorantly low, but it's a lot lower than stock, especially not that 4x4 mode it was earlier. Compared to what it was, yeah. Actually, it doesn't sit too bad.
And it's definitely gonna ride.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Well, just pushing down on it, I noticed right off the bat the thing's gonna have a nice soft ride. Let's go. We're gonna go take it for a spin real quick.
Right. All right. And you're driving, buddy.
Oh, I'm driving.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
And you can move the seat however you need to.
Fine, right here. Alternator's still charging. That's good.
Oh yeah, no problems whatsoever.
Used to it. Okay. Where are we going?
So we're gonna go out that way.
Okay.
I think you're gonna like this because it's very stock.
Yeah.
I believe it's stock clutch. I think it's probably a 273 rear end gear.
Also, it's gonna be very slow.
It's yeah, but it is extremely slow, like especially when you drive, you know, your car or my, you know, my blue car or something like that. But it's, you know, again, the clutch is super forgiving. This car is super easy to drive. But I think the car's like super easy to drive, you know. Well, there was a little bump and the car didn't bottom out.
Yeah.
I don't know what, it's a short throw, I don't know which one it is. It's probably a cheapo, but it actually works pretty well.
No, it feels, the shifter feels great.
Yeah.
The car drives nice. It's got a firm ride, but it's not like, you know, like you're riding on bricks.
It's not like solid mount ride.
Exactly.
You know?
This actually feels pretty decent. Wheels straight. I mean, it's not pulling anywhere.
Right.
The alignment's pretty. I'd say the alignment's pretty close to spot on.
Oh, actually, it was that street. That's right. Just turn left at the light.
Turn left. Turn right.
It's my throw-out bearing.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
No, it drives good. It's
Not bad for a fixer-upper, huh?
Yeah, no, this is a nice car. I mean, I've driven some pretty rough box bodies.
Yeah.
And this is actually for a project car, this is actually really solid project, I'd say.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, and again, you know, the interior is pretty clean.
Yeah.
So when you're inside the car, you can't really tell. We'll make a left here. When you're inside the car, you really can't tell what it looks like on the outside. So
Right.
you just kind of feel like you're rolling in a pretty decent 5.0.
Yeah. No, it feels great. I mean, no complaints here. The clutch definitely, you know, this might be an aftermarket clutch.
You think so?
I think so. It's a little heavier than a stock
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
I just noticed the clutch engagement is pretty similar to.
Yeah, it's probably organic disc. It's
Okay.
not a ceramic or, you know, one of those puck style clutches. It's just a stock material clutch with a stronger spring.
Spring pressure, yeah.
This makes me want another fox body.
I was gonna ask. I was just gonna ask. I'm like, is this bringing back any memories? You know, driving a 5-speed and driving an old fox body.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want to pick up another fox body. Mainly for my wife. She wants one.
Okay.
And we'll see in the future what I find. More than likely, I want to find something like this, where it's a project car, but it's clean, it's good, you know, something easy to work with.
Something worth building.
Exactly, yeah, something worth building, because there's some rough fox bodies out there. Not that you can't rebuild it from scratch, but it's so much more work to just, you know, instead of just buying something that's already pretty good to start with.
Yeah,
you know, just something that needs a little freshening
Good
up.
bones.
Yeah, exactly, good bones, yeah. Well, here she is. on the outside, get a nice better view of it. We just got done taking it for a spin, and what do you think? The ride quality is way better, I think.
I agree. You know, it was, I thought it was good before, and now after going for riding this, again, it's a lot more comfortable, and like you're saying, it's not, so it rides firm, but it doesn't ride like solid mount firm, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it still has some comfort to it, a little bit of float, but it's not, you know, like bouncing around like some Lincoln or something like
exactly,
that.
yeah. I think, you know, it's funny because these are SVE Springs. I think for SVE Springs, these things ride pretty good.
Yep.
I'd be happy if this was my fox, but I'd be happy with that ride. It's great. I mean, it's good enough for a nice little street cruiser.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, so what's next on the agenda?
You know, I mean, the weather's changing around here, so we're probably going to end up putting it into storage.
Okay.
And I think over the winter, the plan is going to be, if possible, I got to pull the dash, pull the heater box out of there, because there's no evaporator in there at all.
Right.
I'm sorry, actually, the what's the little canister? It's that sits on the
accumulator.
So the accumulator, right, was just broken off.
Okay.
So that line on the bottom is actually gone.
Okay.
So the whole thing, the evaporator's got to come out and be replaced.
Yeah.
So the plan is to try and get the air conditioning working over the winter. And I don't know. I think I'm actually going to pull the Mac headers because they're equal length shorties. I hate them.
Yeah.
They fit like crap, and they're kind of burning the frame rail. So I'm going to get them out of there and clean up the frame rails a little bit, and then maybe even put stock headers back in or put some shorty BBKs or something.
Okay.
But again, yeah, so really the plan is to get the air conditioning working over the winter. That's the big one.
Okay, cool. All right, so that does it for this video. I'm going to leave a link in the description for Tom's channel, Brother Tom, and he does a lot of foxbody content, and maybe you'll see my ride in there.
I hope so, Epi. Once you get that done, I'd be happy to do that. You just got to let me drive those.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
That's the only stipulation.
I will let you drive my. So you let me drive yours, so I'm gonna. You can drive mine for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So till next time, have a nice ride.
Thanks for watching, guys.